The first tickets to the Obama Presidential Center go on sale today, starting at 9 a.m. The 19-acre complex took about a decade to build. Former President Obama talked about some of his favorite spaces in the center.
We've got that playground for kids to play in, and a community garden following up on what Michelle did, and a basketball court and a gym.
Tickets are $30 for adults, $23 for children, and there's a bit of a discount if you're an Illinois resident. There will also be some free days during the week. The Obama Presidential Center opens on Juneteenth. We have a link to purchase tickets on our website. Go to NBCChicago.com.
Well, good morning from Jackson Park, where we are standing outside the long-awaited Obama Presidential Center. The center itself doesn't open to the public until June 19th, but tickets to the museum go on sale this morning. The foundation expects high demand when the queue opens at 9 a.m. People can purchase up to 9 tickets. Weekend and summer dates are expected to sell out quickly. So how much will it cost you? Prices range from $23 to $30 for general admission, $15 to $26 for people who live in Illinois, and kids who are under 2 get in for free. People who live in Illinois can also take advantage of free days on Tuesdays. Leaders say museum exhibits explore the promise of democracy and the work of the Obama presidency. Through immersive storytelling and interactive installations, guests will engage with the legacy of America's first Black president and First Lady and reflect on the enduring power of civic participation. Now, the campus also includes the Forum with an auditorium, a state-of-the-art recording studio, restaurant, cafe, and so much more. The vast majority of the campus, by the way, aside from the museum, is free and open to the public.
President Obama, and if he wanted help, I'd give him help because I'm a really good builder and I build on time, on budget. He's building his library in Chicago. It's a disaster. And he said something to the effect, I only want DEI, I only want woke. He wants woke people to build it. Well, he got woke people, and they have massive cost overruns. The job is stopped. I don't know. It's a disaster. And I don't like that happening because I think it's bad for the presidency that a thing like that should happen. He's got a library that's a disaster. And he wanted to be very politically correct, and he didn't use good, hard, tough, mean construction workers that I love, Marco. I love those construction workers. But he didn't want construction workers. He wanted people that, never did it before, and he's got a disaster in his hands. Millions of dollars, many millions of dollars over budget. And I would love to help him with it, or somebody else. I could recommend professionals. But it was not built in a professional manner.
Trump, you can't even reach the doorknob of my community center. That community center in the south side of Chicago is where I met Michelle, got married, had my daughter, and started my political career. That building holds the most important memories of my life. It's my roots, not your stage. The smell you carry, you can smell it from 2 blocks away. Don't dirty my place. I will never let you set foot in here. You can't even reach the doorknob. You say Michelle and I are like apes? Call me anything, but touching my family is crossing the line. I can take any criticism or insult, but I will never tolerate anyone attacking my wife and daughter. I can be reelected as president. Your reelection dream was crushed by Biden himself. You had your political career ended directly by the sleeping giant you called. I got the Nobel Peace Prize 9 months into my presidency. You'll never get that in your lifetime. You built casinos, sold steaks, and set the record for the most Twitter accounts suspended. I built community centers, left a political legacy, and won world-class awards. You can never match.
President Barack Obama announcing that his presidential library will be opening in June in Chicago. It's going to open on June 19th, a part of Juneteenth celebrations. It's been quite a while that he's been working to get this library open on the south side of Chicago. He says the presidential library will be open for all Americans. However, Obama's team saying that President Donald Trump is not going to be invited to the opening ceremony. However, they say President Trump can visit the Obama library in the future.
OMG, y'all. I got my museum ticket to see the Obama Presidential Center. for me. Of course, I will see y'all in 50 days. Well, less than 50 days at this point. Internet parents. Because, baby, if it was left up to me, baby, I've been to stop spring cleaning this closet and be on my merry way. But since it's not open, I better slow this ship down. But in the meantime, honey, oh my God, I am rocking this shirt. This is the first merch shirt that I received of the Obamas. This will say, oh yes, we did, 08. And then I literally have my high school binder in my hand. When I was studying the Obamas, like literally, in high school, my room was the theme of the Obamas. Like, oh my God, look at these pictures. And I never in my whole entire life, when I started this journey and had my room in Utah, Alabama, decked out with the Obamas all over my walls. Like, look at my calendar, y'all. This says May, we're in May. And I literally still have history book from my private school. Like, the 44th president was in my high school material, like. But let me tell y'all, last Wednesday, I was in the Obama queue, and it felt like I was in Beyonce Catwalk Carter queue, like I was so stressed out. But y'all, I'm gonna be in heaven because when I started, like, the Obama museum in my room, and all of the merch and magazine and stuff, like, I never dreamed outside of the walls. Like, yeah, one day I'm going to visit a presidential center or library so I can, like, look at everything in one spot. Like, at the age of 16, my mind never went there. So, like, we're talking about, I get to see all of that in one spot. Michelle dresses, like, I still literally have something that's similar to her inauguration outfit she wore. Y'all, I don't know if I'm coming back to Texas. I don't know if I'm coming back to Texas for the summer because, baby, I need a whole year to literally go through their whole archive. Like, I am the walking archive. Because I started my archive when I was 16 years old, y'all. I am 35. I am 35 years old. Like, I'm overjoyed because this is about to be the best summer ever. I already got my tickets, and this is the best ticket I've ever bought. Like,
the Obama Presidential Center is about to open. We got a first look today inside a replica of the Oval Office. Everything exactly as how it looked while Obama was president for 8 years. From the rugs on the floor, to the books in the bookshelf, to the pictures on the wall, to, yes, even a letter inside. You open the drawer of his desk, and there is the letter that George Bush left for him on that first day of his presidency. He tells him it can be tough, but he also says rely on God and the character of the people who brought him there. Even the couches and the chairs, they're arranged just as they were when Obama was president. Yes, and you'll see George Washington and Abraham Lincoln there on the walls overlooking all that was going on inside the Oval. The museum itself, now it's more than just a museum. There's exhibits, there's a restaurant, there's a sledding hill. There is even an NBA-sized basketball court. 1 month from today is the big grand opening. The public allowed inside the next day on June 19th. It is going to transform the south side of Chicago in Jackson Park.
Michelle Obama grew up on the south side of Chicago in a working-class family in a one-bedroom apartment. She earned her way to Princeton, then to Harvard Law School, not through legacy, not through connections, but through talent and discipline. She wrote her Princeton thesis on how Black students experience elite institutions because even then, she was paying attention to systems, not just herself. She became an associate at Sidley Austin, one of the top law firms in the country, and then left the money to work in public service. She served the city of Chicago. She ran major civic programs. She became vice president for community and external affairs at the University of Chicago Hospitals, building partnerships that actually helped people. As First Lady, she launched Let's Move, taking on childhood obesity when nobody else would. She created Joining Forces to support military families. She championed girls' education worldwide, traveling the globe to tell young women their lives mattered. She did all of it while protecting her daughters from the spotlight and refusing to turn the White House into a brand. Then she left. No scandals, no grifting, no selling access, no golden statues. She wrote Becoming, one of the best-selling memoirs in American history because millions of people across race, class, and party recognized something real in her. And that is why Donald Trump reaches for racist imagery. Because Michelle Obama represents everything that he can't counterfeit. Competence without cruelty, power without corruption, dignity without fear. She doesn't need to respond to him. Her life already answered.
Now, unfortunately, we know what comes next. We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be Black. Wait. I want to know who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those Black jobs.
It's easy to look around right now and feel like the challenges we face are simply too big. But hope is not about ignoring the hard stuff. It is that thing inside us that insists something better awaits if we're willing to work for it. Here on the south side of Chicago, hope is getting a permanent home. Starting on June 19th, you can visit the Obama Presidential Center, a campus with a world-class museum, a new branch of the Chicago Public Library, sweeping green spaces filled with public art, yes, a basketball court, and more. This is a place where a child from next door or across the globe can sit behind the Resolute desk and imagine how they could help create a better world. All week long, we'll honor all the people who've been with us on this journey, from those who helped launch our campaign, served in my administrations, and helped build the center, to all of you who want to turn hope into action. This is not a monument to the past. It's a living destination for people who refuse to accept the status quo. If you feel that way, this is your invitation to join us. Sign up to be the first to know about updates, events, and tickets at obama.org.
I watched Trump's speech today at the Museum of the Bible, so you don't have to, and here's my overview. We'll start with the craziest thing he said, which is that one man during his campaign knocked on 10 million doors for him. Now, I did the math on that for you, don't worry. If he knocked on one door per minute for 12 straight hours a day, every single day, never stopping, it would only take him 38 years to accomplish this goal of 10 million doors. Let's get into the meat of it. He talked for about 50 minutes. He somehow mentioned Biden 7 different times and Obama twice. So he starts off by saying that America was founded as a country of faith, and when our faith is strong, our country is strong, but when our faith is weak, our country is weak. And apparently right now our faith is weak. He also says that tyrants are denying the rights to religious people. I don't think he knows that he's in charge. On that note, he says we need to bring back religion to our country because, you guessed it, 1 year ago our country was completely dead, and now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. He says that multiple leaders in the Middle East confirm that, as well as every single leader of every NATO nation all told him, we were dead a year ago, now we're the hottest country in the world. He goes on this weird rant about how in 2016, apparently Ben Carson came up to him, I guess during the debates, and said, like, you're going to be the nominee. Why? Because God chose you. And then he goes on and starts complaining about how Ben Carson then continued to do the debates and continued to campaign against him. So He said that during his first term, he had to deal with multiple pandemics. I'm not quite sure which the multiple were. I only remember the one. I guess he's just trying to make up for the fact that he did such a poor job of handling the one that he did have. He then says that America's 250th anniversary might as well be the 300th anniversary, so we should call it the Super Centennial. Just a little bit of learning for you. The 250th anniversary of anything is called its semi-quincentennial. He spent the first 12 minutes of this, no joke, 12 minutes, just naming people. Not any reason why he's naming them, not anything about anything they have accomplished. Literally just naming people. He spends 12 minutes doing that. He spends longer than the entire video you're watching now is going to be just saying people's names. Glad you're here. He said that he personally today delivered the Trump family Bible, which was given to him by his mother, to this museum, and it's going to be displayed there. And he says, this was the Bible that I put my hand on both times when I was sworn in. I mean, he doesn't give a shit about that Bible, and he continues to do illegal things and unconstitutional things that he swore on the Bible he wouldn't do. But I guess now it's going to be displayed in a museum for however long. He said the woke agenda is practically gone, but it's deep-seated like a weed, but it's mostly gone. I'm just going to point out he spent like 15 minutes in this speech just bashing on trans people. He just said that, you know, what they're doing is unholy and it's not good. I just want to remind you that before major religions like Christianity were around, trans people existed. So they're older than religion, but apparently it's ungodly. He claims that West Point did something great this week, but does not tell us what that is as that relates to faith or anything like that. But the only thing I can go off of is earlier today, he posted something saying that West Point won't be honoring Tom Hanks anymore for something, and then saying that all of the Oscars should also look into their selection process. It doesn't make any sense, but of course it doesn't, right? He says that students in our public schools are indoctrinated with anti-religious ideology, and those who try and show their religious ideology are persecuted for it. He says the Department of Education will put out a directive today saying that prayer is now protected in schools. Prayer has always been protected in schools. It's not a thing that it's not protected, but again, Christians just want to feel like they're persecuted, so he's just playing along to that. He brings up at one point, I'm not kidding you, a 6th grader who says that he was forced to read a book to a kindergartner that basically said that you have to change your gender, that you should change your gender, and that he didn't feel comfortable about that. So then he complained, and then his parents complained to the school, and then he got immeasurably bullied for that. Probably just because he's a weird religious freak, but you know, whatever. He says transgender for everyone at least 3 times. I'm just going to let you know we're about halfway through at this point. I have ordered shirts and sweatshirts just for me, not for you guys, that just say transgender for everyone and then a quote mark, Donald J. Trump. I cannot wait to wear that around. I'm not kidding when I said he went on this whole trans bashing thing. He at one point says that there are states that can force people who don't want to transition against their will. He's making a claim because he thinks this transgender for everyone is a thing. He's making a claim that states now are forcing people who don't want to transition to the opposite gender. He says again, he boasts about how he made it a decree in the United States that there are only 2 genders, which just goes against science. Like intersex and non-binary people exist, like in their chromosomes, in the way that they present physically, all of those things. These people do exist. There are people who do not fall into the male-female category. Again, just a scientific thing that has always existed in humans. He talks about the Johnson Amendment, which I guess was some amendment that didn't allow religious leaders to talk about politics, even though they've always talked about politics. And if they do, they might risk losing their tax exempt status, which I think is a reasonable thing because, you know, state and religion should be separated. But he says he got rid of that, so now they can talk about politics all they want in religion. Great. He said he pardoned the pro-Christian activists who were thrown in jail by Joe Biden. Again, not a thing at all. And then says that he is ending the weaponization of the DOJ against religious groups, which, again, wasn't a thing. Did I mention how many times he mentioned Biden? He talked about Biden 7 times and Obama twice in this. He says that Joe Biden was a mean person. I'm not kidding you, at least 8 times. And then he says that Joe Biden wasn't always a mean person, but I guess the people around him made him a mean person. It didn't make any sense, but he kept using the word mean. He kept saying that he was a mean guy. And yeah, it's, you know, Sleepy Joe, just so mean, so angry. He says in this country there is a tremendous anti-Christian bias, but that they're just getting rid of that very quickly. I will again tell you, Christians, you have not been persecuted in this country in any way, shape, or form. You just feel like you want to be the victim. And so you continue to play the victim while you have the major religious group of this entire country as your religious group. But again, whatever. He talks about the stabbing of that woman in Charlotte and also the children who were killed in Minnesota. And he says, when you have horrible killings, you have to have horrible actions. And then says, we're not going to do horrible actions, though. Of course not. So directly contradicts himself immediately. He says that DC is now a free and safe zone and they could be doing the exact same thing in Chicago, and he's just waiting for Chicago to call, and he doesn't understand why they don't call. And then he brings up that blue tent that was outside of the White House that was a sign of protest that had a permit to be there. And then he says that it was connected with the communist cause and that they got it taken down right away. He also says 3 times that DC was the most violent city in the U.S. I just have to go based on context clues because he does not give a time frame for that, where he previously said that it was the most violent city in the U.S. on the day of his inauguration, which again, just not true. I'm sorry, I should have put this one in there earlier as one of the craziest things. He at one point makes a claim that a man beating his wife is not really a crime. They just had a little fight. And so he thinks that those numbers shouldn't be included in the crime statistics. And if they didn't include silly things like domestic violence, then the crime numbers in DC would actually be 100% reduced, i.e. 0% crime. But he instead says that people are saying it's 87% reduced, which is weird because it's, again, just a statistic that he's previously used to talk about carjacking, specifically, not crime overall. He says beating your wife is not a crime. Big surprise there. He says, of course, the 2020 election was rigged, but that was a good thing because by the grace of God of it being rigged, so I guess God was involved in it being rigged, he now gets to have the World Cup, the Olympics, and the 250th anniversary.
Did you see Obama's brand new library in Chicago? This thing looks like it could have came out of ancient Egypt, but there's a reason why it looks this way. It was made by Michael Van Valkenburgs and Associates, and the reason they made it this way is to look like 4 hands holding each other, and there's inscriptions on the inside. So this place has a restaurant, it has a rooftop garden. The landscape weaves in and out of 3 different buildings, including not just a library, but a forum and an auditorium and a recording studio. It has spaces for all kinds of different social events and social gathering events, not just to be a library, but to be a real community center for people to come and enjoy and to learn. So this place is really something special in Chicago. So if you want to check it out, you definitely should. It's going to be opening up in May. And it even has a whole bunch of inscriptions that Obama personally picked out. So what do you think? This thing looks pretty cool. This might be worth checking out. Lockdown Universe out. Good luck. Peace.
It's Charles, and we are back with some news. The Obama Presidential Center has announced they will be opening on June 19th and having celebrations throughout the week. So I think that I'm going to have to clear my schedule for this one. This is kind of a big deal for me because when I was finally able to vote, I cast my vote for the first African-American president, and he won, Barack Obama. So this is kind of a big deal for me, and with everything going on, rest in peace, Reverend Jesse Jackson. But I feel like we need to be at these historic moments, especially as Black people. Let me brag really quickly. When I was at Michigan State University in 2008, go green, I got to go to the Obama rally. This is me right there. And then I basically got to shake his hand. That's my hand right there. I think that if I go to this week of events, I think we should take another photo, Obama. You let me know. Somebody send this to him, okay? I promise I won't have the bonnet on, I promise.
Y'all, I wanted to share the exciting news that the Obama Presidential Center is going to be open to the public starting on June 19th, and tickets are now available. General admission is $30 per adult and $23 per children. But if you are an Illinois resident, you can get a $4 discount and get in for $26 if you're an adult or $15 if you're a child. But discounted admission for Illinois residents requires valid Illinois ID or proof of residency required upon arrival. What? But what about the people who don't have valid ID? How in the world are they going to qualify for your so generous discount of $4 per person, President Obama? Isn't that disenfranchising to them to require that they show valid ID in order to get a discount to enter your presidential library? I mean, what if they find out this is all on stolen land?
I forgot to remind everybody, tickets for the Obama Presidential Library went on sale today. I was in the ticket queue for about an hour. I did get tickets to maybe the first Tuesday in July, I think it is. Tuesdays are free for Illinois residents. It's just like any of the other museums. So definitely get on the books. Obviously, they're selling out pretty quickly. And it will be here, like you can go at a later date. But I think everybody's really excited to see what it's going to be like. And of course, if someone would like to invite me to the opening, that'd be cool. But I'd also be really happy to go in July on a free Tuesday.